words when it comes to your marriage. Remember that words have the power to build and the power to break. So in marriage, it's not even different. You know, these are the threads that weave connection, intimacy, and also understanding. A single sentence can actually bring comfort or cause distance. A kind word can heal a wound. A harsh one can leave a scar. And so in the day-to-day rhythm of married life, it's easy to actually underestimate the impact of what we say or fail to say. But research and real-life experiences both remind us that communication is actually not just important, but also essential. Whether it's how we express our love, handle conflict, or simply talk about the small stuff of day-to-day, the words we choose to share, you know, the emotional climate of our relationship. This morning, we shall be delving deep into this conversation and have an amazing, amazing panel of an amazing lady, very, you know, a professional when it comes to matters, marriage and, you know, relationship, as well as Bishop, who will be guiding us through this. I know he talks to couples. I know he guides them through marriages. And so this is your opportunity to learn. How then do you sieve your words? How then do you speak to your loved ones? And it doesn't have to be just marriage. Generally, how do you do that? Be part of this conversation. Join us on 20316 SMS line or 0786316316. That is our WhatsApp line. And be part of this conversation. Ask your questions. Let us know your concerns and also your feedback. My name is Sally Limo. Welcome to the show, as I also welcome my guests. Thank you so much for making it, guys. Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
Bishop Karibu Ngozi, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll start with you to introduce yourself. Then we get to Bishop.
Okay.
All right.
So, my name is, what kind of introduction you want? A little introduction.
A short one, because I know it can be long.
Very long.
Yeah.
So I'm Ngozi from Nigeria.
Yes.
And I'm my husband, the founders of Keeping Marriage Alive Initiative. We've done this for 12 years.
Okay.
It was at the verge of divorce. We were done. We didn't know how to come back together, but God gave us a second chance.
Wow.
And when we came back together, we realized that issues are actually common. The issues in marriage are common.
Right.
And there are principles that guide marriage.
Yeah.
So we were able to get that and we've been building.
Wow.
And God has been faithful to us. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
simply it.
Amazing. And I know that reconciliation part of it was, of course, the power of the words you used,
Oh,
both of you,
certainly,
isn't it?
certainly.
We're going to get into that.
Yes,
Bishop,
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante. My name is Bishop Adams Ability. I am the senior pastor of Dominion Chapel International Churches here in Nairobi, based in Umoja.
Yes.
And also I am the regional overseer of the Dominion Bible Faith Ministries East African region, by the grace of God.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
I'm
much.
married to one wife.
Very important.
Who is a woman.
Very important.
Oh, God.
Who is a woman.
We need to do that now. Very true.
Whoa,
Very
guys, we are on an international level, by the way.
you.
So this
Thank
content
you.
today is not just local, it's also international. It's always what we do here on Family Matters.
Amen.
And, you know, just to start us off, Ngozi, and I like you've started with at least your experience, life experience. Talk to us about that, you know, that almost getting into divorce, but then you got back together. Was there power of words in just healing that relationship?
I think life in itself was built by words.
Right.
You know, when God created the heavens and the earth, what he did was he spoke words, and then those words aligned and actions now took place.
Right.
And so when we got to that stage, I think the Lord took me back to the very beginning of our relationship. Behind the scenes, I was talking to Bishop and I said to him, I said, I wasn't in love with my husband when I met him.
Yeah.
So when we were about to get married, there was no relationship. But the Lord says, speak what you desire.
Yeah.
So I spoke it for a while, a year, and then fell in love with him. So when we had that near divorce saga, that was the same principles we applied.
Yeah.
There was no love any longer. We felt there was, you know, there is a feeling and there's the truth.
Yeah.
So the feeling was there was no love, but the truth is there's always love inside. It's just that you have to believe that it's there. So we began to call it forth.
Okay.
I love you. After a while, the words of God began to refresh us. And because I said it, my mind, spirit began to believe it.
Wow.
And we are back here. This makes it 21 years together.
Oh, wow.
And God has been faithful.
Wow.
So the words you speak to yourself, you see, people are used to saying what they have now. But the reality is you have to speak that which you desire to receive.
Right.
Okay.
Because when you're saying what you have now, it's not going to change anything.
Right.
And I'm not saying exaggerate or lie. I didn't come and say, my husband, you're perfect. The Lord said, look for something in your hand.
Right.
And my husband is a very good father to the children. He said, so take that so I can bless it. So I began from the place of saying, thank you for being a loving husband, a loving father.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That gave entrance to thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That gave entrance to gratitude. And from there, we began to reconcile. It took us a year or two to return. But I can tell you, it's better than it was ever.
Oh, wow.
And I will do it again with him.
Fantastic. Bishop, from what Ngozi has just said, she talks about he's a good father, and she was able to tell him. Sometimes you're not able to even voice that to people, but how powerful or how important are words of affirmation, you know, just appreciating someone in shaping a healthy marriage?
It is very, very important. One, we must understand that words are powerful.
Yes.
Words are powerful. What you speak to your spouse
Right.
will either break them or it will encourage them. So it is always very, very important, at least you speak comforting words.
Yeah.
You speak encouraging words, words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about these subjects, and among factors that build of marriage, words play major roles.
Yeah.
Among factors that destroy marriages, words play major roles.
Okay.
So it's very, very important, at least when it comes to affirming our spouses, let's be choosy in the words that we use, because a word spoken wrongly can cause damage.
Absolutely.
It may not appear immediately, but with time, if things are not done well or something is not done about it, definitely it will come to pass. Yeah. So very important.
Very important.
Yes.
Because you speak to Proverbs 15:1, you know, about just that gentle response to someone that you love, as opposed to the harsh words that we use. Speak to that scripture.
Wow, how do I even share that? You see, to be very frank with you, we all grew up with different family patterns.
Right.
And so what happens to us is that we truly want to do good, but some of us have not seen good. So replicate what it is. But I've learned that in the conversations of life, if you just take a pause and say, this thing I want to say, what will it?
Yeah.
That pause changes everything. If you value something and put the value first before the anger, before the reference, something changes in you. So we all have the capacity to say what we want, but should we?
Should we? Is the question.
That's the question. And as Christians, remember we're Christ-like. There was a question I asked someone recently. I said, does your spouse see Jesus in you? The test of Christianity is not outside.
No.
It's at home. And so if you ask me, what I would say to people is, if you can take a pause 1 minute, something begins to recalibrate all the time. We mustn't answer everything immediately. The aim is to win. The aim is not to win an argument.
Yeah.
That's
the
right.
aim is to win together.
That's right.
And so immediately you have that we are together in this, not to win a short-term argument. It changes the concept of life.
Okay.
And so for me, that's very important.
Very important. Yeah, but Bishop, you know, sometimes there are people who just decide instead of talking, probably I've been talking and talking, they decide to go the silent way.
Yes.
Do you think sometimes then silence speaks louder than words?
Yes, silence speaks louder than words, but we shouldn't resort to that because marriage is a game between adults. Adults, when something is going wrong or I am offended, you've done something to me that I don't feel right.
Yeah.
It is good we talk. It is good we talk. At least I should be able to air out, this is the way I feel.
Yeah.
This is the way I feel. Please, next time you don't say this one, because if you say this, it hurts me.
Right.
Yeah, so when you keep quiet, I think silence it causes more damage in a marital relationship. So it is always good, at least we should, because sometimes when you are silent and cold on your spouse, you know, there are a lot of things, a kind of some emotional pains, and especially we the men, I think it hurts us more.
It does?
It does.
Right.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, because we we are creatures that we are created to communicate. Yes, to communicate. At least we should be able to communicate.
But talk about communication
Yes.
and men, you
Yes.
know, Ngozi and Bishop as well.
Yes.
Men are not very good at verbalizing
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So I don't know how then would you handle that if your husband, your spouse was this person who could not verbalize? How do you handle such a situation?
Okay, I'm going to say it into parts.
Right.
So the first part for me was from our African culture. I don't know for Kenya, but for Nigerians,
Yeah.
our fathers were like authorities. They speak,
Yes.
you listen, you obey. Now that's not communication, you know, because no, that's serious. That's not communication.
Yeah.
And so when we got married, even when our husbands wanted to do something different, they
Yeah.
didn't know how to do it. So I remember my husband when we got married, tell me, pretend I'm not here. He'll come back, he's a medical doctor. He'll tell
Yeah.
me, pretend I'm not here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him, how long will I pretend? Because for women, see, any man listening right now, when you're talking to a woman, when you want to talk to her, or when you met her,
Yeah.
if you didn't talk to her, you won't have her.
Yeah.
And to keep her talking has to continue. And for some men, they say intimacy is sex. For women, communication is the real intimacy for us.
Exactly.
And so, first thing we have to understand is if I value you, I need to study what you value. And that breaches it. But I think for the men, when the men begin to understand how important communication is to the woman they are with, I think they begin to unlearn how to communicate. Because it's an unlearning process. Because even you say, he said it, that's okay. So it's an unlearning process, but it takes a courageous man
Okay.
with the kind of society we have built to say, okay, this is actually wrong. This is not the right way to communicate,
Yeah.
and begin to unlearn. But I want to beg our women to be patient a bit.
Okay.
What I learned from my own conversation is, you know, you want to have a conversation, you have 1,000 words. And our husbands can't process 1,000 words at the same time.
You're right.
So I also had to learn that if I value him, I should speak his kind of language.
Okay.
So for me to say I'm crying 24 hours, I'll say my husband, yesterday the way you spoke to me around 5 p.m. when we were seated was quite, yes, because when you say you spoke to me, you spoke to me all through the day. So which one are you talking about? So, seriously, and, you know, when a woman is talking, we understand, we grasp it. The man is saying, please, can you just tell me which one? So what I had to learn was, can I speak a bit of his language? So I'll bring and say, my husband, when you spoke to me yesterday around 4 or 5 p.m.,
Yeah.
and the way you spoke, I now bring out something from it. Now, two things have happened. I've communicated and he has learned.
Okay.
So what happens to men is that we communicate without explaining what the person should pick from that communication. Therefore, he keeps repeating the same issue.
Okay, Bishop, I don't know if you agree with that in terms of how men communicate. You people don't verbalize.
Yes.
And she's saying then you people have your own way of, we should communicate in a certain way with the men.
Now, let me come this way.
Right.
The way men interpret love is different from the way women interpret love. It is. Now, with a man may feel, at least I have done this one, I have done this one, I have done this one for you.
Yes.
Why do you want me to say again that I love you? Yeah, that is
Okay.
true.
Yeah.
Because I expect you for me to have done this for you.
Yeah, you
It shows
can-
that I love you. But with a woman will always want to hear you say it, I
Right,
love you.
yeah.
I met a woman sometimes with her husband. You know, she will say, tell me you love me. The husband will say, I love you. So say it again. I love you. Okay, tell me in my ears. You get, but with men, sometimes we interpret love, but at least I have done this for you.
Yeah.
That shows that I love you. So we, the men outside there, of course, as Ngozi has said, you know, we need to relearn some things. Yeah, especially the African culture.
Right.
We need to at least relearn
Learn a
something.
bit of-
Yes, and then unlearn.
Yeah.
And then learn.
Yes,
You know, at least learn how to start verbalizing
Yeah.
yes the
Yeah.
love and some of these things to our wives, because it is very, very important, you know, because when you begin to speak those encouraging words, you verbalize them to the person.
Yeah.
Because when it remains inside your heart, it is at the level of admiration.
Yes.
It's only admiration.
Okay.
But when you now verbalize it, now it begins to bring out some the best out of the person.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, with these words that we use, you know, using our tongue, of course, we hurt, we've said that, we've hurt, we heal, and all that. But what are some of the words probably, or how then do you reconnect with your partner, with your spouse, the moment you've used these very hurtful words and now you want to come back and say, I am sorry, Ngozi? Because for most people, it's really hard to just get out of, I'm sorry. How do you go about that?
Okay, before I answer, I will just crack a little joke.
All right.
So my younger sister, her first child, he's been taught to say, I'm sorry.
Right.
So what he does is he will break something and say, Auntie, I've said sorry. He breaks another one and say, please don't apologize again. Just stop breaking it.
Yeah.
So there is a balance.
Yeah.
The real apology is not doing it again. That's the real apology. So saying I'm sorry is a key for the other person to understand that you value them.
Right.
Okay.
Then the action you take after the apology is the key thing in this matter.
Okay.
So what I think first of all is, I always tell people, if you know how valuable marriage is and how important it is to your personal journey, apology becomes a very important part of it.
Okay.
You no longer feel pride. You no longer feel that it is not written. See, we're all in different businesses, in different work.
Yeah.
There are areas you must apologize for. So, and marriage is one that is internal, is generational.
Yeah.
It affects the family, your finances. So first of all, we must understand that the apology is because I want to win with you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much and how often we need to say it. But that's the first step.
Okay.
The second step is what actions we take after apology.
Right.
Because saying I'm
Right.
sorry and you need to do it again and again now makes the apology, as in, will I say?
Dilutes it.
Yes, and
Yeah.
actually it becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm asking us, even for women, you know, your husband says he doesn't like this, then you go out and do it again and come back and say, I've said sorry. So it's like intentionally you've kept the sorry somewhere so that when it's time you bring it out. So I think that when we value something,
Okay.
okay, let me use the love of God. When you're in love with God so much, there are things that you just don't want to do. I don't want to do it and come back and apologize.
Yeah.
Because I know the impact of that in our relationship. So our actions should be, first of all, how would this impact? And if you've made a mistake, apologizing is the first step. You see, infidelity was one of the things that nearly broke our marriage. And I just wanted to throw that in a bit.
Yeah.
And so when we wanted to return back, we had to deal with that. And so I kept coming back to my husband and asking him, Mimi, why did you do this to me? And I asked him that question for 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I needed healing. He could have said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
So the sorry, he used to tell me after years that when he was coming back, he would sit in the car for me and said, gosh, he's going to ask me the same question again. But he was patient enough to allow me ask those questions repeatedly.
Yeah.
And he was apologizing and making amends. So we were in a place where I felt safe enough to trust him again.
Okay.
So apology has stages, but sorry opens the door into those stages.
Okay.
I don't know if that's helped now.
It does, absolutely. That's quite profound. Bishop,
Yes.
in all this, as you're talking or communicating with your spouse, someone watching out there or listening in, does the tone matter? How I say, because I could say sorry, but I say, didn't I say I'm sorry? You know, does the tone really matter? Does it play a role here?
It does.
Yeah.
The tone with which you use in speaking to your spouse does matter a lot.
Yeah.
Because when, just as the scripture you quoted, the Bible says, a soft answer turneth away wrath.
Proverbs 15:1.
Yes.
Right, a soft
Absolutely.
answer.
Right.
You see, but when you come out with a very harsh tone, it makes somebody to coils in.
Yeah.
Yes, to coils in. You know, sometimes, or it will even provoke more anger.
Yeah.
And that is why when you are communicating with your spouse, you see, because sometimes when couples have been together for a while, sometimes we begin to lose respect for each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so those are some of the guards we should put a check on, so that at least when you are speaking to your spouse, don't use harsh tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least a soft one because you are a team.
Yes.
You are not opponents. You are a team.
Right.
If you win together.
Yeah.
If you lose together. So at least the tone with which we use in speaking to our spouses matters a lot.
Okay.
So at least it's always advisable and encouraging, at least use a soft tone. Yeah, because when you use a harsh tone, sometimes
Yeah.
the other person also may want to respond.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because we are emotional beings too. You know, so very, very important, at least harsh tone may spoil things.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you, because since you are not dealing with a child,
Yeah.
you are in, all of us, we are adults. At least when you speak on a soft tone, I will understand what you are saying.
Okay.
Then I will be able to make corrections where needs be.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Ngozi, do you have anything to add on the tone?
Yes, I think, let me put it this way, it's not he that shouts the loudest communicates best. You know, sometimes we think the shouting is everything, but the tone is very key.
Yeah.
You know, I think in communication, I think words is the least in percentage, then tone before body language.
Yeah.
Now, the same, and I think we carry the pressures of life, bring it home. We have learned something in my marriage, and we teach couples that we minister to.
Yeah.
When you are coming home, just take a few minutes and say, God, you know, all the pressures, I keep it at the door.
Amen.
I come into love and nourish one another here.
Yeah.
It helps to see certain things differently.
Yeah.
Because the burden of life, and you know, the burden of life, you try to manage it outside, then you come and unburden it
Yeah.
on someone who never even knew the pressures you faced on that day.
Right.
So we have to tend to separate those roles so that you don't bring only garbage home. So you really bring good things home.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I have to say is that tone is key. But I also think the underlining thing about the tone is also the person that receives it.
Yeah.
Let me put this in this way. I remember my husband and I. This is a very funny story, but very important that could help somebody.
Yeah.
You know, so when he comes home from work, he's a medical doctor.
Yeah.
When he comes home from work, usually timing is not controlled by him at that time when we were teething, early stages of our marriage. So he comes home and I ask him how was work, and he says to me, "What do you mean by that?" Now his tone was very harsh.
Yeah.
And I asked him, "Why are you raising your voice?" He said, "Did I raise my voice?"
Yeah.
Now, and we begin to have an issue that had no issue.
Yeah.
So after a while, we sat down. And I said to him, you know, you can answer a bit better. And he now said to me, but you don't need to ask me why am I coming home late. At the very beginning, you can allow me come home, sit down,
Right.
eat, and then have those conversations.
Exactly.
So both of us had to unlearn certain habits
Some
our parents.
habits, right.
So when he comes home and I ask him, how are you? He will just a smile. You know, a frown affects the tone. So a smile tones it down a bit and
Yeah.
is more welcoming.
Yeah.
And then we take it from there. So basically, that's how it is.
Fantastic. You know what we did with this conversation? We went out into the streets and we got some people talking about really the power of words when it comes to marriage. Can it kill? Can it heal? So here we are with some of the sentiments of some Kenyans out in the streets. Let's listen in.
Words are like scar na zinabaki. They're those that zinabaki forever in your life. So ukiangaliaga hivi unasema this guy said this and maybe meant it. Sio hivyo. So inaweza jenga, upande mwingine inaweza bomoa.
Maneno itasafunja ndoa. Maneno itafunja ndoa. Ama utapata mtu utasahau kuambia toka kwa hii boma, sitaki nikuone. Na sasa hiyo mimi ndasa ukasaka kwa ile hasira zangu na ndasa kupaka vitu na niende.
Tunaambiwa kwamba ulimi ni kiungo kidogo, lakini saa zingine kinatoa matamshi mazito. So kwenye ndoa, wakati watu wamekubaliana, inakuwa ni kitu moja. Maana harusi inapofanyika, kuna mtu husema kwamba nitavumilia kwa haya na haya, lakini sio kwenda kutoa mdomo ama yani kwenda kuongea mengi. Kuna wale ambao hutoa siri za ndoa yao, which is very wrong. Haikubaliki. Ni vizuri wakati ambapo mtu anapoona kwamba ndoa yake iko kwenye changamoto, ni vizuri ahusishe, kama anaona ni vigumu kuhusisha watu wa familia na ni mtu ambaye ni mcha Mungu, ni vizuri ahusishe watumishi wa Mungu, wanaweza kumpa mashauri mazuri. Kwa hivyo maneno pia uharibu, na inategemea maneno haya huyu mtu amenena, je, inampendeza mwenzake ama inaharibu?
Absolutely. That's where we are right now, Ngozi and Bishop. Those are Kenyans here with their sentiments, and I think they're already in sync with what we're talking about. Yes. They're actually saying, there's a lady who said right there that, you know, you have a husband who tells you, by the time I get to that home, let me not find you. And what does she do? She'd pack her stuff and leave. Then the other one is saying, this is our marriage, but you want to talk about it with other people instead of going to church and probably speaking to the men or women of God. What is your take on what they've just shared. Bishop, I start with you.
Yeah, we must understand that you are married to a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are married to a human being, and we are prone to make mistakes. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I always tell my wife, I knew when I was getting married to you, I knew I was not getting married to an angel.
Right.
Yes.
I always tell her, I didn't get married to an angel. I knew that you would make mistakes. So at least before I even got into that marriage, I
Yeah.
created room. When the time of wrong comes,
Yeah.
at least I should be able to know how to handle it. You know, as the lady has said, it is not encouraging, because somebody has done wrong. Then wherever you are as the man, you begin to speak. Say, before I reach home,
Threats,
I
yeah.
don't want to see. It is not right,
Yeah.
because that is a human being. We are prone to make mistakes. Even you too, you make mistakes also
Yeah.
as the man. You
Right.
are not perfect. You know, so sometimes at least we should be patient with each other.
Okay.
We should be patient with each other. And then the man talked about it, when there are issues. You know, sometimes words are like feathers. When you remove them, wind will blow them off. If you want to collect, it will be very difficult to collect them
late.
together.
Yeah.
So that is why it is always very advisable, if you are having issues in your marriage, at least don't just meet anybody from the street and start sharing your issues with
Yeah.
them. There are some of them that may not help you.
Yeah.
Some may even escalate the matter. Yeah, so it is good, just as the man said, you either meet a marriage counselor or
Yes.
you go to your pastor,
Okay.
at least for advice and for prayers.
All
That
right.
helps a lot.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Ngozi, I don't know if you have any input on that.
Yes, I think Bishop has said it all. But I will just say something. You know, the man said something. He said, bringing out the secrets in marriage.
Right.
And I think we all have to have. Marriage should be a safe place where I know you. You know, it said they were naked and not
That's true.
ashamed.
Yes.
That's true.
There's a level of nakedness that you cover both. So there are things about myself my husband knows and I know about.
Yes.
As far as it's not detrimental, we shouldn't use those words. You know, some people use it and throw on each other when they're quarreling.
Right.
That's a no-go area.
That's right.
We don't use someone's weakness when you're having issues.
Okay.
We keep them.
That's right.
Because you have to come back and dine again. And the person will never be able to be vulnerable with you
Absolutely.
again. And so for me, I was quite touched when he said that. Because it was like he was saying from a personal perspective. And it happens.
Yeah.
Women can be flippant. And it's for
Yes.
we women especially.
Yes.
You want to hurt him, so you bring out those things. See, as far as you're going to bring out something and you want this marriage to continue, there should be terms and conditions in this fight, to be serious. Boundaries you shouldn't cross. You know, and then some men use this as a threat.
Yeah.
If I get home, I don't want to see you. And I want to beg our men to stop saying that. Because 50% of them, or even more than that, really don't mean it.
Yeah.
True.
It's just a way of showing that I'm the boss of the home. You know, being a boss and being lonely, I'd rather be a team and win, you know. So, but for the women, if that happens in your relationship, the first is not to pack and go. We tell people, can you have people in agreement? Have people you can reach out to. So what we teach younger generation
Yeah.
of marriages is identify few people you respect, you both of you respect.
Yeah.
That when there are issues, you can call the person,
Right.
and the person can reach out to your spouse.
Okay.
So if they had that now, that woman would have called the person and said, this is what is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, permit me to share something that just happened recently.
Right.
Around 12 midnight, I get a phone call, and the lady says to me, ma'am, I and my husband, he just left the house this night. He said either I leave or he leaves. So she just had a baby, so he left the house. And I said to her, I will sleep on it. I won't call him because I don't know how he would take it that you called me 12 midnight.
Yeah.
So in the morning, he calls me and says, hasn't your daughter called you? I didn't say anything to him. I wanted to hear him. He now gives his own narrative. And I
Yeah.
said to him, I would like to see both of you. So they call me and I asked them a question. Do you really want to end the relationship? No. So why do you keep bringing this to the table? Why do you keep using the word is over? Because the heavens and the earth is listening.
Right.
And after a while, it becomes a reality.
Right.
So what you really don't need to happen in your marriage, don't say it.
Right.
No matter how heated the argument is. And so I'm asking people to now have, like call them accountability and support system in the season of crisis that you can reach out to and both parties can hear. So imagine from that conversation, someone calls and says, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
Just hold on. She doesn't need to pack yet. When you get home, we'll come and see you.
Okay.
That softens it.
Right.
And you might get there and the anger would have simmered a bit. So when he comes back in the evening, conversations can really happen.
Okay.
And it wouldn't have led to her packing out and find out that there was no use for even leaving the house. So that's basically
I love what you've brought up out there, Bishop, and you
Yes.
must have had it, boundaries. How
Yes.
important is that? Especially, and like we said, and we're laughing, but that's the
Yes.
reality. Women, we
Yes.
keep telling you, we keep talking about the past and exposing you in our
Yes.
argument. So how then do you maintain this boundary, and especially for women?
Yeah, as she has said, it is important. We know we should be choosing, as I said earlier, be choosy on the words that we speak to our spouses.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes there are words that provoke anger. And the Bible says in the book of Ephesians chapter number 4, is it verse number 29? No, verse number 27. It says, and give no room to the devil. When you begin to speak words, any word that comes to your mouth, you begin to speak it, you say it, you are opening a door for the devil to come in.
Yeah.
Sometimes when tension is high, emotions are high, that time, we have control about ourselves. I mean, the power of control, we have very little.
Yeah.
So that is why it's very important, at least the kind of words we should be cautious in the words that we speak.
Right.
Yes, we understand women, allow me to say, they are talking machines.
I agree.
1,000 words per minute. Because it's
Yes, talking machines. And men also, men, we too, before we process 10 words, you've already spoken 100. At that time, please, patience is required.
Okay.
Patience is required.
Patience.
Patience is
and
required.
I love that you've really hammered on that one,
Yes.
patience.
Yes.
And I think, patience, we've talked about patience, forgiveness comes in, and communication, very important.
Right.
But talking of communication, Ngozi, then there's the digital aspect of it. How important or how effective is the digital communication in terms of text, the WhatsApps and all? Are they as effective as a spoken word?
Okay, funny enough, I wanted to add that and you brought this in. Okay, so I tell people, my husband says this, he says, you have to find a way to reach your spouse.
Okay.
You must pray it through and find a way. So when we had, my husband used to be very hot-tempered, very hot-tempered. And so I found out that when he gets to that place, he can't hear whatever I'm saying. He can't just hear it. No matter how soft, no matter how, he just can't hear it.
Yeah.
So I went back to God and began to look at it. Two things he helped me with was, first of all, tell stories that doesn't talk about him.
Yeah.
So I learned to tell stories of our circumstances. So he's listening, but it's actually about us. That was one. But what digital thing that did for me was messages.
Okay.
So I have a lot of things I wanted to say, and naturally I'm a talker. When you're a teacher, you're a talker.
Yeah.
And so, but it wasn't helping my marriage. It became a disadvantage because I wanted to say things, and so the Lord had to help me. I really prayed about it.
Yeah.
He said, okay, write the first message. So I write a whole message, maybe 2 pages, the real way I feel. Then when I'm done, he will now say, now write the way he will understand. So I take that, I've vented. I've vented to my fool. I now bring out the core issues and now rewrite it and send to him. And what happens was, after a day, he will send me a response. I've digested what you've said, and I didn't see it this way. Can we now talk?
Okay.
I think what we expect is that communication response must be now. It's not the response that is important, it's understanding. So that when there is a response, it's actually the right response to solve the situation. And so it mustn't even be a text message. You could actually say, can we sit out on this? Let's not deliberate on this now, and come back maybe a day later or so. So we are dealing with a situation, but it's not affecting the whole environment at the same time.
Okay.
And so we must find a way to deal with things as they come without affecting the marriage proper.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you're not going to talk to me today, the marriage, you begin to bring things that really don't matter.
Yeah.
And so solve those things in, will I call them in, I tell my husband it's in cubicles. Just this is an area, we're solving it. This is a problem in one area, not in all areas. We women tend to take one problem and affect the whole.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
And so, but we can survive for the next few minutes, for the next few days. Other places are functioning, till you get this place working.
Right.
And so I think being patient, forgiving, and understanding that we process things differently.
Yes.
And if we must win, we must allow each other process the way we understand.
Okay. Bishop has really emphasized that. That's very true. We want to handle everything at a there go. And I love that
Yes,
aspect of
right.
it. You know, just put them in cubicles. If we argue right now about infidelity, let's speak about that. Let's not remember.
Exactly.
You remember 20 years
Exactly.
ago?
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Those are the things. Those are the things. When I sit with my wife, we are discussing some matters. You know, I have wronged her in this way. I always personally, let's deal with that at a time.
Yes.
But that one we brought something that happened yesterday. Another one that happened in
Some months
1970.
It's not easy because women are computers by nature. But we can file it.
Yeah.
I put them in folders. Put them in folders.
There you go. Oh God, women. Anyway, you know, we still have a lot more right
Yes.
out there in the street. But before then, please remember that this show has been made possible by your support, by your contributions. And I want to thank God for you just to be part of this amazing family that really, or even a ministry that is ministering and impacting lives out there. You can do that by sending the word partner to 20316. Our SMS line or 0786 316 316. That's our WhatsApp line. And remember, if you want to be, supporters, then you can do that on paybill number 316 316. Our account number is your telephone number. Let's go back again to the streets and let's hear what Kenyans have to say about this issue.
Mimi kitu yenye nitaweza kunikasirisha ama kwa familia, mtu ataweza kukuja akuambie ama saa zingine ukiambia mtu tufanye maneno pamoja, yeye mnafanya pamoja, mkiwa pamoja mnaitikiana, mnafanya pamoja, lakini atasafika mahali akuja aseme hawezi fanya hiyo kitu, na alikuwa mmepanga pamoja, mkoa pamoja, lakini baadaye atakuja ugeuka akasema hawezi fanya tena hiyo maneno yenye tesa kunituliza, labda aniombe msamaha, niambie basi nimeomba msamaha, kama nilikuwa nimekosea tusamiane na tukae kama kawaida, tukae kama kila siku.
Kuna ile kutaka kusaidia familia yenu, umekuwa committed kwa family members ni kama mandugu, mama, nini. So utapata mama atakuwa na ile kikwazo kukuambia ni aje, hey, unakaa sana kusaidia familia na wewe yangu bado. Sasa unaona hizo ni changamoto.
Tuseme kama mimi ni Aslan, nimetoka kazi na asubuhi 4:30 naingia kazi. So natoka hii masaa ya 5:30 nafika kwa nyumba around 6. Sasa ukiingia pale unapata mwanaume ako pale anaanza kukutusi mambo mingi. Sasa mimi nenda napiga soli, nakuja namlipia rent, nambaia food, nalipa school fees, nalipa rent. Sasa hatambui. Sasa mimi nikaamua kwenda kujikaisha, ni kwetu single mother.
Sasa hivi niko na bodaboda hapa. Maybe nichelewe kazini, nikamfahamisha ya kwamba nitachelewa kidogo, ile muda nitachelewa. Baada ya kumaliza kazi nitarejea wapi? Nitarudi manyumbani masaa kama saa 3 kama saa 5. Sasa pale unapata kama amenuna.
Hakuna mwanaume anataka comparison. Mwambie wewe ukae kama wale wanaume wengine. That one peke yake itakuwa imekubreak. Yeah. Don't compare a man to any other man. If you are addressing me, just address me. But usiseme usikae kama nani.
Wow, quite some heavy, sentiments right there, Ngozi and Bishop. And Bishop, probably I'll start with you. First, we see there's a lady, there's a gentleman talking about the issue of extended family.
Yes.
In terms of the wife keeps complaining, when you're going to see your family, then, you actually favor them more, blah, blah. And he feels hurt. Words. What is your take on extended family and how can we handle this amicably? Just balancing that out.
To me, to handle extended family, at least the couple, you sit down and discuss.
You're right.
Sit down and discuss and agree. These are all our relatives.
Yes.
We want to assist them or whatever we want to do, at least we sit down and agree. But because if the man say they are my own family, he take the decision alone, definitely there might be some issues. That is why if you want peace, at least sit with your spouse. These are all our relatives. How do we help them?
How do we help them?
She too has extended family too. Yeah, so that you plan and you organize your life and how you can help all both extended family on both sides. With that one, it will not bring much issue. There will be no much issue because you did everything together.
Okay.
Yes, to me.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Ngozi, there was an issue of comparison, and the man seemed to be very, really adamant and bitter about it. Like, why would you want to compare me to another man? What's your take on that, and how then does it balance out the marriage issue?
truly speaking, nobody should be compared with anybody, both husband or wife, because we're all unique.
Yeah.
And I think comparison diminishes the person. The person feels undervalued and will no longer hear whatever you want to say. And I think comparison is a sin. If you need something, you can learn from someone.
Yeah.
You don't compare. Their journey is not your journey.
Yeah.
The internal things, you don't even know what they have gone through. And I remember someone saying, if you hear someone, I've not heard someone share their stories and you want to take my story, you will carry yours at home. So in life, I think when you bring in comparison, what the person hears, I'm not enough. And that changes the conversation.
Exactly.
Because nobody wants, first of all, I love you the way you are. But there is much more to where we're going to.
Right.
And that's how God treats us. He sees us with all our imperfections and says, I love you exactly the way you are.
Yeah.
So comparison removes the love factor.
Okay.
So we shouldn't even play it at all.
Okay.
So we should apologize and it should be removed from our vocabulary. All
Right.
comparisons.
Okay.
But just in line with that, I just wanted to add something to what Bishop said, and it's very important. Families, extended family, I tell people, I'm a mother now. Tomorrow I'm going to meet the extended family.
Yes.
Sow a seed you would like to have in your season.
Okay.
So we are very intentional about my house. The way I treat my mother is the way I treat my mother-in-law.
Wow.
It's not because I told my siblings, I said, I'm going to be a mother-in-law tomorrow. And I hope that the way I'm treating my mother-in-law will count.
Exactly.
So life is a seed and harvest season. And so I and my husband don't see our parents as different. My mother was very sick one time and my husband went home and she was vomiting, stooling. He cleaned her up from head to toe. He didn't see her
as mother-in-law.
He didn't even call me. He got there before me.
Yeah.
When I came, my mom was telling me, I was looking at him, and he knows I will do exactly the same for him. He's not up for conversation.
Wow.
So when we see our families as different, that's the key problem.
Okay.
Because we are both now married. We should. Well, I'm not saying they're not going to be difficult, but the mindset is this is part of us.
Okay.
Then we should set boundaries.
Okay.
When we give money together. So parents know that. My mother can say, Angie, give me money. I say, we are giving money. Whether it comes from me or from my husband.
That's right.
And so in line with that, I think that helps because what Bishop said is true.
Yeah.
Discuss it. Agree on terms and conditions. Even when you want to increase money, because there are monthly allowances some of us give, you discuss it together, basically.
Okay, so in communication, because we've also had someone there talking about I communicate when I'm running late. I call my wife and I communicate, but still there are issues, harsh words coming out there. Bishop, how do you bridge on the same ride? How do you bridge then the communication gap, especially if you have two different love languages?
Yeah, that is why issue of sitting down with your spouse to talk and explain these are the challenges, this is the nature of my work. How I do this, how I do this. It's always common, just like the man has said, the border rider has said. You know, I will call her and tell her I will be running late today. You know, sometimes they still get angry. You see, that is why one thing, we need to trust each other.
Yeah.
Trust is very, very important in a relationship. Yeah, because once there is no trust, you know, issues are bound to come. Yeah, so at least still sit down with your spouse, let them understand what is really happening. Yeah, but when they still accuse you, you get angry, you know, you flare up, it will not solve matters.
Okay.
Yeah, it will not solve matters. So please, our spouses or the wives, try to understand your man. Yeah, you try to understand, he explain things to you, you understand the nature of his job. Yeah, and then more so he has called and communicated that I will be running late today. At least we need to understand that one.
Okay.
Yes, then I wanted to add something to what Ngozi said.
Yes.
Concerning dealing with the extended family. You know, there are times I do things, when my parents were still alive, I will travel home. Whatever I buy here, sometimes my wife will not know. I will go and give to them and say, your daughter-in-law.
Exactly.
It is your daughter-in-law that said I should bring it to you. That is what I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very important.
Because why is it that sometimes you find you are able to really compliment people there, most people, but then when it comes to your own spouse, they've hardly ever heard you say, baby, you look nice, you know. Why is it so hard for that to happen? And that would be your closing remark, really, unfortunately, because of time, as you wrap up with your parting shot.
Okay, so I think, number one, whatever we get comfortable or used to someone at home.
Yeah.
And it's more common with men than women. Women express more.
It's the men's turn now to get to face the heat, right?
So what happens is that let me use a car because most men love cars. So when a man is admiring a car, he will talk about it. The day he buys it, he can wash it for 3 weeks. Okay. After that, he might not wash it for 2 weeks. So the chase for them is more important than the win. But you see, for marriage, the chase must continue after winning. And so the mindset is cleaving. I think I want to use the word cleaving. Yeah. So when the Lord said, and they cleaved, he left and cleaved, it was the man that had to cleave. Meaning that it's even more important after marriage to chase your wife through complimenting, through appreciation, through being intentional. Exactly. So I think, but we've not understood that pursuit doesn't end when you say, yes, I do. It actually begins. Wow. Actually, that's the only way to keep marriage alive and authentic. Yeah. It actually begins. Okay. So I want to just say that if you're married, don't settle. Yeah. Begin running. And it's a marathon, not a dash. So run with the understanding that if you run well, leave an inheritance for your children's children that they can inherit. Because what we inherited is the patterns our parents left us. Can we change the narrative? Yes. But before we leave, I just want to add something concerning what Bishop said concerning the factor. I think I wanted to add the fear factor about when the man talked about coming home and the wife. You see, there is a fear hidden in some questions. Yeah. And most of us don't address it. When things are reoccurring, please address those things that are not being said. Okay. You know, this thing really happened to my husband. My father was a doctor, but he was a philanderer. For those who don't understand, he loved women. And so I never wanted to marry a doctor. And years passed. Anytime my husband is coming home and I say to him, why are you late? I wasn't asking him. I was asking for reassurance. And I didn't know. Okay. So when this was reoccurring, we sat down. Yeah. And I asked myself, Angie, this thing is becoming a pattern. Then I had to look inwards. Sometimes it's not even about your spouse, about you. Yourself. You have not healed from certain things. Okay. And when I got there and I began to look inwards, I realized that anytime my father was late, we already knew he was in a woman's arms. So when my husband is late, and because he's a doctor, my brain is trying to separate both of them. Right. And so I had to address that fear. And so we agreed on a pattern. If my husband is running late, he sends me a message and says, Angie, I love you, I'm running late. That's an assurance. Exactly. So we have to find systems to mellow the fear and build trust. All right. And those are my final words. Wow. What a powerful, and right there. Bishop, for you, what would be your parting shot?
Well, as she has said, truly women, we are culprit. Mostly, I always find it difficult, even my wife, at least to compliment when she looks good. I find it difficult. Sometimes just when she talks, I begin to feel guilty, but of course I say, but you begin. But men, we should be able to learn how to compliment our wives. Okay. Very, very important. Something they have done good. All right. Let's appreciate it. Oh, wow. Very, very important. Let's appreciate it.
I'll clap for you this morning. Thank you so much, man and woman of God. Thank you for really bringing a lot of insight onto this topic, the power of words in marriage. And remember, marriage is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Remember, as we had said earlier, just if you want to be part of us and support us, then you can do that. And by sending all that to our pay bill number, as well as our cooperative bank account, and it is cooperative bank account 0113 6000 799100. The account name is TBN Family Media. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. God bless you and keep you. See you again next week, Tuesday through to Thursday, by God's grace. We love you and God loves you more. Bye for now.